So for the variables and rules topic, right? I'll show a few examples. So the easiest way is to test each of the rules out on each of these input and output. So for example, let's say we test the rule number A. Subtract 2 from the input to get the output. So 9 minus 2 is 7, but this one is not quite right? When you minus 2 is not 5, so that's wrong. And then for B, multiply the input by 0, then add 5. Well, if you multiply anything by 0, you just get 0. So if you try 9 times 0, which is 0, and then you add 5, right? So 0 add 5 would be just 5 now. That's not quite right. So by the process of elimination, you can see that the last one is the right one, but we'll see. Multiply input by 2, all right? Then 9 times 2, multiply the input by 2, you would get 18, and subtract 11. So 18 subtract 11 is 7, all right? Correct? Let's try that on the last set here. Multiply input by 2 is 14, and then subtract 11 is 3. That's also correct, right? And if you want to test, you can test the middle one as well, but the answer should be C. Okay, how about this one here? Add 10 to the input to get the output. Okay, add 10 to this. Well, that doesn't look quite right. It doesn't get to 15. Sorry, it doesn't get to 11 here. Multiply input by 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. And then add 1. Yep. And then plus 1 is 11. Seems about right. 2 times 7 is 14. Add 1 is 15. Okay, then the rule B must be correct. Let's test C though. Multiply input by 3. So 5 times 3 is 15. And then subtract 4. Okay, this one does get 11. Now let's test the second one. Multiply 7 by 3, right, is 21. Minus 4 is 17. That's not correct. So C is wrong. So yeah, it's the same idea where you just test each of the rules from each of the input and output and see if they all follow the rules. Next are these types of questions. So complete the table for the given rule. So show some example. Y is, so when you read this statement, right, you would get Y is just means equal, and then 1 less than 2 times X, right? So it's 2 times X and then 1 less than that. So 2 times X and then 1 less than that. Okay, so now it's just substitute each of the values in here. So when you substitute 2 in here, you get 2 times 2 minus 1, which is 3. All right. 1 less than 2 times X, so you just times this one by 2, which is 6. 1 less than that is 5. Times this one by 2, which is 8. 1 less than that is 7. Now let's try this one here. Y is 2 more, right, than 4 times X. So you got a 4 times X first, and then 2 more than that. So 4 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 is 18. Okay, how about this one? Using the following two patterns. So for X, starting number is 3, and then you add 4. So you add 4 to each of this, you get 7. Add 4 again, you get 11. Okay, and pattern Y, starting is 3, and then you add 2 to each. So add 2 would be 5, add 2 would be 7. All right, so that's it. You just follow the instructions. So if you can't do a question, make sure you read the explanations before moving on. Okay, how about this one here? The rule is, so we need to find which input and output table works for the rule. So the rule is divide by 3, then add 7. Okay, divide this one by 3 is 5, add 7 is 12. So that's wrong. That's not the right one. Divided by 3 is 10, and then add 7 is 17. That's also incorrect. Divide this one by 3, that would be 6. And then add 7 is 13. So that one is correct. The answer should be C. It's just testing the rule on each of the input and output set. So input is what you put into, so the input here. Yeah, so you start with that number first, and the output is the result. All right, so for this one, you just need to complete the table first, and then plot the ordered pairs onto the graph. That's it. So first one, multiply X by 2, then add 5, right? Times that by 2, which is 0 times 2 is just 0, and then when you add 5 to it, it's 5, right? So Y would be 5. 2 times that is 2, plus 5 is 7. 2 times that is 4, plus 5 is 9. Okay, which means that the first point is at 0, 5, and then 1, 7, and then 2, 9. Okay, so 0, 5 is this one here, 1, 7 would be here, and 2, 9 would be here. All right, so you gotta just move these points to these 3 points. So if you notice, this will create a straight line. If you were to use more inputs, it will create a straight line. So same here, multiply by 0, then add 7. Okay, when you times anything by 0, you get 0. And when you add 7, it's just 7. 5 times 0 is 0, plus 7 is 7. 7 times 0 is 0, plus 7 is 7. So the points are 3, 7, 5, 7, and 7, 7. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 7 is here. 4, 5, 7, and 7, 7. Right, so it basically is a horizontal line. Okay, so in terms of the linear relationship, what they're saying is y is equals to 0 times x plus 7. So 0 times x is just 0, so y equals 7. This is the equation of a horizontal straight line. Okay, now for these following questions, you need to complete the table, right? So complete the table and find out the terms in pattern y are how many times the terms in pattern x. So we'll complete the table first. Starting number 10, add 5, so that'll be 15 and 20. Pattern y, starting number is 2, and then add 1, so 2, 3, 4 is 20. So if you notice, this is just times, x would be, so when you divide that by 5, right, you get y. So patterns in y are how many times the terms in pattern x. So this is, you not multiply this by 5, right? You multiply it by 1 over 5. 1/5 times the terms in pattern x. Okay, so times 1 over 5 times 1 over 5, because essentially you're dividing by 5, not times it by 5. So when you do something like 10 times 1 over 5, right, then whole number just multiplies to the top, so that will be 10 over 5. That becomes 10 divided by 5, which is 2. Okay, all right, similarly for this one here, starting at 6, add 6 would be 12, 18. Starting at 1, add 1 would be 2 and 3. The terms in pattern y are how many times the terms in pattern x. So how many times the terms in pattern x? So this one again, this is divide by 6, all right, or times by the reciprocal, 1 over 6. So it's 1/6 the times the terms in pattern x. Okay, so for ratios, you need to simplify ratios similar to how you would simplify a fraction. So let's see, ratio of students who ate pizza to students who ate mac and cheese. So pizza is 13, mac and cheese is 6. All right, so that will be 13 to 6. And that's it. There's only one answer. Now, how about this one? The ratio of action movies to total movies. So action to total. Total means you need to add up all of these, right? So action is 5. Right, and then the total would be, so let's calculate the total, which is 2 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3. So that would be 2, 3 is 5, 5, that would be 14. So 5 to 14. All right, that answer is D. So what's the ratio of sweet snacks to total snacks? So we find total first. Total would be 15 plus 7 plus 2. 9 plus 15 is 24. So sweet is 15. Okay, so let's see. Sweet is 15 and total is 24. 15 for every 24 is the answer here, B. All right, and next will be these questions here. So they're saying this is the ratio of spells Luna cast to Ginny, right? Luna is the top 4 there and Ginny is 5. So Luna to Ginny is 4 to 5. But let's see. So when Ginny and Luna cast a total of 45. Now note that total, right? Total is 45, and how many parts are there, right? Luna has 4 parts, Ginny has 5 parts, so in total is 9, right? 4 plus 5 is 9 parts, 9 boxes in total, and these 9 boxes correspond to, 9 boxes correspond to 45, which means each box would be 45 divided by 9, that would be 5, right? So if each box is 5, that would be 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, 5 here. And similarly, it will be here. So that'll be 9 times 5, which is 45. Right? So you need to find out the total first. How many boxes are there in total? And then you divide the total spells by the number of boxes. You get how many spells per box here. And then what's the number of spells Ginny cast? Would be just 5 times 5. So that's 25. All right, let's see. Based on the ratio, the next question. So cheese to pepperoni pizzas, and if they bought 6 cheese, how many total? Okay, so 6 cheese. Now cheese has 3 boxes, right? And 3 boxes corresponding to 6 pizzas, which means it will be 2 in each of the box. And because the ratios are equal, then this one is also 2. So how many in total? 2, 2, 2, 2 is 8 total pizzas. So 2 pepperonis and 6 cheese pizzas to get the ratio of 3 to 1. Same here, so 24 red notebooks, that would be 24 divided by the 3 boxes here, so that'll be 8 each. Alright, so each box is 8. Similarly for the brown, that would be 8 each and times that by 5. So the total for brown would be 8 times 5, which is 40 notebooks. Okay, for these equivalent ratio problems, right, you just start it off first by following the pattern. So 6 spots for every 2 eyes. Right, so for every 1 eye, there will be 3 spots. So the mathematics is this. So 6 to 2 is a ratio of spot to eyes, right? And to simplify this, you divide both of them by the same common factor, which is 2. All right, so you can both divide by 2, so that will be 3 to 1. So 3 spots for every 1 eye. So same here, how many whiskers here? 2 tusks for every 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 whiskers. And so the ratio is 2 to 4. Right, and you want 1 tusk, so 1 is to 2. Yeah, so you divide both sides by 2 here to get the equivalent ratio. Okay, next is this type of question here where they give you the main ratio. So fish to total pets. Now know that this is total, right? So let's count. Cat has 3 boxes. Fish has 3, 6, 9. So that's 9 boxes. So fish, so total would be 12 boxes or 12 parts. So fish to total means it's 9 to 12, and you got to simplify this, divide by the highest common factor, which is 3, right? Then that would get you 3 to 4. So the answer is D, 3 to 4. So try out these questions first, and then if you run into any other issue with other questions, make sure you read the articles or watch the explanation, the videos from Khan, and then see if you can continue. Good luck.